Helmseye.
So welcome back. We're just starting now to look at the interface screen for playing the game Star Traders, and we're obviously going to be also now looking at how the map system works. So at this point you'll see that it's highlighting for us consult. So this is a fun part of the game where our officers, which every time we play the game we get different types of officers, and this is actually going to, they kind of act as our helpers during the game. So it's telling us some of the basics of how to move from place to place. Now first of all, if you look at some of the essentials, on the left here we've got the number of credits, we've also got how much cargo space we've got, and here is the missions. So this is important. So the Arbiter Estelle Brockstrom is waiting for us to give her passage to the court of Prince Callaghan Fen. That's how I'm going to say it. All Arbiters are both powerful agents of the Shalun law and are of Zendu blood, allowing her to access the genetic memories of her ancestors. Now, if you've had the opportunity to play Templar Battle Force, you'll know a lot more about these Arbiters. If you haven't played Templar Battle Force, go do it. It's got a great story. And so I love the fact that this game does touch on that a little bit. So it's a compelling passenger, it's a personal objective, so that's part of what we're learning. And you'll see here that we have different actions available of what we can do. So by setting the waypoint just by itself, when we go on the main screen we can just click navigate, or we can click the space bar and it will take us in the right direction. Obviously the other option we've got in this one is we can navigate now, so we can say right, let's just get going. Most missions you get will just give you the set waypoint option. So here we are. We're now looking at the known contacts. So this is where we saw earlier when we were creating our character. These are the people that we know. Here's Estelle. She's our passenger, and we get a little bit of information about her. We can buy intel, sell intel to her later on in the game, and she's also telling us they're also telling us the location of where she is, and also what her influence is, because influence becomes something quite important in this game, the way you do it. So here's the merchant that we picked, and it tells us where she is. We've also got the smuggler. As you'd never guess he was a smuggler by looking at him, would you? And then of course we've got the retired explorer, and we've got the intelligence officer. Known rumours. I haven't really explored this yet, but this looks like a fun part of the game as well. As we develop the crew, you'll see that there's different ways of having some of them get more rumours than you would normally get, and obviously you can probably, I suspect, chase down those rumours and there'll be some sort of reward. Another nice part of the story, I think. And here we are with the clans, so the factions and conflicts, who's doing what, and also how we're doing with each of these clans as well. So let's just look at Clan Javat. That's the one that we're affiliated with. Clan Javat hopes it will continue to support their cause within the galaxy, but they're still leery of our intent, so we need to show them that we really care. Javat and Kadar are wrestling for economic dominance by using trade bans against each other. Well, that's a shame. We saw earlier that Javat is actually the military one, so that's probably not so good. And there's an alliance, though. Javat and Devaltos are supporting each other. So we already now know that Devaltos, if we get the chance, we probably want to do something nice for them, because that will promote our clan. However, if we come across the Kadars, we know that there's a chance that they're going to be hostile. Now we have the option of looking at the Star Atlas. So this is a great way of finding out what is around locally. And you'll see here, as we go to each planet, I'll go through a bit more detail of this, but you can see it tells you what's available. And can you notice there's this yellow bit here? So this is the symbol to say that we've got a contact there. Now, we have a chance of seeing now a bit more about how this part of the galaxy works. This is showing us where the stargates are. So we're able to go from one, essentially they look like wormholes to me, but they're essentially stargates to different parts of the galaxy. And these lines are important because I've noticed that the number of weeks it takes you to travel does depend on this length of line. So it will take much longer to go from the Hyperion Abyss, where we are now, to the Alzean Core in comparison to going to Garrick Void. Also, you'll notice that we get a little bit of an overview. So here we're told there's four independent systems, 2 Clan Zerin systems, and 3 Templar Order systems. So for those who are familiar with Templar Battle Force, well, that's where their main base seems to be. And at the moment, we have no problems with Clan Zerin or with the Templar Order. Here we see we've got the Thulan system is here. Also we've got 7 Steel Song systems and 2 Clan Zerin and 1 Syndicate Rychart. And if we go a bit further out to 5th Pass, we see there's the Devaltos. Well, if we remember, that's someone that we're a bit friendly with. And also there are 6 Kadar Syndicate systems, not so friendly with those, and 2 Steel Song. So we get a little bit of an idea of how the other factions are doing and where they are. Also, what's handy from here, we can also see where our contacts are. So we've got 1 contact in the Orion Expanse. The rest of the contacts must be in this system, because I can't see any more on here by the looks of it until we build some more. So we now have the consult. So this is again the chance where they can tell us what they want to, what's important for us to do at the game. You'll notice here it says this notification lets you know that you have crew officers who need to level up. So that's something we'll come to in a minute. Don't delay in making training decisions. Jobs training grants critical skill points. Job training grants critical skill points to help with many types of activities, as we'll go through. And talents are powerful abilities that can prevent disaster, boost our results, and help us discover new contacts or rumours and more. So good advice. So let's jump from here up here. So we have a list here, an alert list it's called. So we have enough fuel, which is good to know. And we have 27 crew members that are ready to level either a job rank or talent. So that's important information. Here it's telling us, again, the same as we saw at the beginning. But you'll notice that as the game goes on, we'll see how these change. And that's why it's not just repeating itself as such. Also, quite simply, there's our clan. And it's telling us we've got plus 10 reputation. Obviously, if it goes in the minus, we'll be in trouble. And here, danger. Well, there isn't any danger at the moment because we've got enough fuel. And our hull is at maximum, 114 hull, 1400 hull. And our captain, he's on 4 hit points. So you'll see why hit points become important in a moment. So the status is where we can go in and now look a little bit at the ship. So we've got a quick overview of what it is that we have on the ship. Remember when we were looking at the different ones in the last episode, you saw that the mass changes, or the amount of fuel it can hold. Also the number of medium, large and small slots, and that will be to do with actually the what's available on the ship that we can upgrade or not. Also, importantly, we get an idea of how many officers we have. So remember, we're allowed to have 5 officers. So that obviously includes ourselves. So there's us, and then the 4 officers are available to be used on the ship. We've got 24 crews, so a total of 28. With us, 29. So there's only so many more people we can hire at the moment because of the amount of people we can hold on the ship. And that will become important. So the type of crew we have, we've got 4 different types of officers. We've got a certain number of crew, pilots, operational ships, ship op staff, gunnery staff, electronics staff and navigation staff. So these will allow us to, as we go through the game, we can improve the statistics of these crew members, and that will have a dramatic effect on different elements of the game, from exploring, ship combat, boarding combat, exploring with crew on the surface, away teams if you like, as well as when we start doing things like spying or trying to blockade planets or also doing patrols. So the crew are essential to having any form of success in this game, and I love that. I think that's a really great feature of the game. Also, we see here we have the crew, and this is where we can look at each of the individual members of the crew, and we can actually go through how we can improve them individually by the types of talent they have and also by the skills. So in the next episode we can actually look in more detail at how the crew are trained, and also how we can improve them, and go into a little bit more detail of what it is in the terms of talents or skills we give them, how that will help us in determining what kind of captain we want to play. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video.
Helmseye.